a little more so than a cent in my eyes, especially with this comp. So we're really going to test Crew early on here in the first half.
I want to see them come out and look with a fire lit underneath them. You don't want to go out whimpering in this game. Katsumi trying to bait the peak for Melt, and it's a little swing piece, a little, you know, flash and swing.
Actually, going to flash off this trap here that's placed deep in towards Rabbit, even as soon as actually they deal with it. I think Jazzy almost considering the possibility,
Flash
and actually perfect, using the TP to dip away from that pinch play.
Such diligence, using the chamber like that. Mel, lovely consideration, and there's the pinch. Crew not going to let it up though. They still had that consideration of what would come afterwards. Bob's found space, but found the wrong end of the gun there. Konsu going to take down Bob, and everything looking good, everything looking peachy for Crew. This is great stuff. Cloud9 struggling to find a way in, find that footing to go forward, and Konsu now needs to play the life and does eventually get found. Cross being watched, Kinnear going to do well, does not need to overextend though. Can play patiently, wait for the support, gets a little ahead of the smoke. No, okay. Slows down the roll and they want another pick, and they need maybe two here. And that's what they're eyeing up. Not going to happen. Kalita going to find it, and Alexis has to face the music. Beautiful start for Crew, especially off that lovely technical piece from Mel there, just going to get out of there, take the contact from the trap, but still, wonderful recovery from Crew.
Perfect read to know something was up. There's actually a trap play outside beat on the back of that trap, but again, right decision making from C9W here as well, not committing to that plant. They needed another kill to make it a little easier. Recovery as well, actually not even noting the spike down there, potential. That spike to be left out in no man's land once that smoke did deplete, but actually get themselves the first on the board here. Some of those positives, and actually see how many of these kind of set pieces we have set up here for the defense. Again, Mel baiting out some of the utility, making use of that TP. So now wide potential here to try and build behind this early setup.
We've got the breach ready to crunch as well, so there might be commitment on this, and the Prowler does find connection. Romy now notes that there are players close by, actively in play. Potential pressure from Sewer, no. Gonna actually back away from this, but with Romy pushed up so deep, they are gonna know that no one's committing towards the long. You know, maybe someone's crossed towards Sewer potentially, but no, they have the player there. Kalita holding that down, so they should be well aware that no one's pressuring this right now. They've got to be careful because they've given up the B site. They are dependent on that one trap.
I'm gonna be pretty easy to retake mid here, especially with Romy's deep position towards sandbags. So even if C9W get in here, find this plant, Crew have the contingencies in place. You might even see the follow through A lobby, which we do. Immediately this pressure going to be applied. Katsumi.
Look at the pinch. Through Garage, 3 players on the other side. I really like this. That was a really nice idea. Katsumi goes down for it, but still, you got to see if they can hold on. Maybe make some more danger come through in a bit of a swing around about. Both sides flipping the script a little here, and Jazzy hitting a big shot. Needs another, may not get it here. Has to find it, not going to happen, and now no one's really on the spike. They got to get back there. They got to get back there and fast. And going to get it towards halfway, I believe. Paint Shell comes in, and Jazzy just putting damage down. And Mel's been waiting this whole time, patiently waiting. Does she get away with it? Oh, it's not the player she would have wanted. Crew keep 2. They get the defuse, and they get 2 on the board.
Damage done here, but that Vandal recovered. The Guardian actually in the hands of Kalita as well. Jazzy actually on that second kill, getting the reset for the Paint Shell. It's almost doable there for C9W, but
so
what a
close.
Response. Anticipating that heavy retake towards mid and actually prioritizing Garage. C9W actually pushing all the way onto C site
it was like
to find another kill.
It was so cool. See, and I like this. If you're willing to be aggressive, assertive, hold that dominance, if you're playing against Cloud9, he'll do similar things. So it looks very mirrored when they're both trying to take that critical space on the map, try and take that map control as they move forward. So we dive back in, and the buy round looking, well, I mean, it's tasty. Kinnear's got the operator out already. Still have that Guardian in play, but it's not the end of the world. You're going to supplement that well with a couple of rifles around it. Flash towards middle, and Cloud9 White now put under pressure. First big challenge and the chance to fight back, at least. Rifles on board, a little bit of light armor scattered throughout. Bob, for example, Katsumi, and Jazzy here.
Saying much more tempered progress towards A lobby this time. A little bit of a switch up. So we'll be tasked. Actually, we'll catch shoulder peek from Mel here, and the smoke going to come down immediately. Going to invest the paranoia here just to slow things down. Actually, aftershock as well. Right away, C9W looking to get back through. The TP available for Kinnear, lands the first shot. That's just not safe TP.
No, it's not, but the paranoia just a centimeter off target to catch them on that. They could have maybe sprungboard towards it, but no. Note the other side of the map, though. Keep in mind, Romy has now pushed down towards A long. Bob is threading the needle well. Finds Kalita, does the not expect the follow-up from Romy, who had already pushed down A-Long. We'd noted that a couple of rounds ago, so now they're going to be aware that's a possibility. It's learning as they go. 30 seconds now, no plant. Taking their time, pausing for thought, and now the plant's going to come in.
Numbers advantage here for Crew in the retake, though. Do have that operator. Well, Connor is going to be the one to take first contact. Actually anticipating some post-plant aggression here. Positioned very deep toward Beamy, and actually Connor going to find one.
Yeah, beautifully considered. Very well done. Noting the aggression, but not noting that Alexis bails him out with 2, bringing it back down to an even affair here. But again, it's that Guardian in play. It's so unaware. Gatsumi beheads 2, and they get their first back on the board. Now, that was a fairly invested round from Crew. You could see that retake was starting to get some legs. I love that deep hold that you noted towards B there.
Yeah, and actually, beautiful response from Kalita. Actually, when that pressure comes through onto C site, and Connor has to TP away. Like I said, it wasn't a safe TP. It was actually set up for a second peek onto Long. That TP on the top of default, but actually Kalita bails Connor out with that fault line. All the way from outside B, slows down that push from C9W. Perfectly done. And actually coming into this Crew, I say with that operator invested in the previous. So Judge and a couple of sheriffs to work with here. Mid will be the focal point once again. Jazzy just missing that initial peak here. Boobot will go through, be dealt with regardless.
Well, Judge is ready to go. Perfect place for it, perfect timing for it. That's 2. Kalita cuts down Cloud9 White, and that's rifles now on the ground. These are recoverable as well. This was a gamble, though. It does have a downside, not able to control that A-Long push-up, so they will be surrounded. But Kalita still going to find the timing, get the rifle, get the upgrade, and get the hell out of danger, but still they've got to be aware they had no long control. A little tunnel vision there, and now problems start to mount. Cloud9 White taking over the site, and Alexis and Jazzykins, perfect unison, making this dangerous.
I was going to note there, whether or not Alexis and Bob can get deep enough to catch this rotation. And they're looking to push through. Jazzy and Alexis might even catch Konsu all the way deep in spawn here. Next information relayed. Do they follow through on this? Potential here for Romy to retrieve a weapon. Yes, Vandal in hand now. Positioned in short. The test the diligence once again of C9W.
They've got to have noted there was 2 rifles lost there. They've got to be aware of where these weapons were left.
Safe plant, it's noted, yeah.
Yeah, they're very aware there's a chance that someone slipped through here.
Ultimate available now for Alexis as well. So they can pressure one way or the other.
Let's look at this post plant. Committing a little towards CT still. Jazzy feeling a little unsafe as to where to sit. Not going to sit towards Graffiti or the Cubby. You've got Romy now taking that room. Building up unawares, and the crossfire going to get broken down. That's Alexis gone, and now Jazzy in the 1v2. Finds the first and looks for the follow-up. Still the paint shell to play if they want it. The time ticking in their side. There's going to be a push off of the spike potentially. Can't sit that no more. 50 seconds in the clutch for Jazzy. Beautiful, beautiful work. The Red Bull clutch coming in here after that got deadly off the back of a Judge.
No stone left unturned. C9W, like I said, the awareness of some potential that somebody had got themselves back through to shore. Great start from Kalita, but like I said, just not anticipating this initial progress from Alexis and Bob all the way onto A side. Like I said, even trying to get ahead and catch that rotation as the reinforcements come through for Kalita. Beautifully done. And the atmosphere starting to change on stage as well.
To say though, that was a purchase with not too much behind it from Crew. Now they've got the rifles out. Now they've got the ultimate starting to cycle through. This is the one that can get interesting. And Romy right back to business, trying to be a problem, be a nuisance, be a saboteur.
I was going to say, did I know actually Connor popping the tour de force as well? Position all the way on short, but Bob's found the headshot.
That's a banger. That's why you're on Bob.
In range of the TP as well after that first shot. Connor looking to hang around, stand her ground.
Oh, Kalita, this is the poison chalice waiting. Kalita, they're going to know you're there this time, but still wins the fight. Mel gets punished and now takes over some control, but the speed up towards A-Long. They're waiting for no one. That site is theirs, and instantly you can see the wrap coming in. Jazzykins wants to clear through sewer. Big indicator they've already potentially pushed towards Long, so red alert should be called.
I think noting actually that Kalita has the Rolling Thunder, a huge tool now to employ from Long onto site.
Here comes that pinch coming in. You can see all that pressure. Romy is there, flies on through, sends it, gets it. Jazzy gone down, but the trade comes in. Bob finds it right on back, and Romy almost behind him, and he line still needs to clear these players out of position. And Bob is the immovable, still standing, takes down Beige. And Romy, where has that just come from? The 1v1, and Bob too cold with it.
What What a round, though. The response, the Rolling Thunder immediately to try and cancel out. Like I said, Kalita making the absolute best decision in that scenario. And even actually Jazzy following through with the showstopper, anticipating that Rolling Thunder being employed. What a round to watch back.
Face your fear!
I think Mel even had a stinger here. I've just caught off guard here with the timing. The headhunter in hand, but what a cleanup from C9W. Romy made this into, yeah, definitely made this interesting. Bob just repositioning ahead of the curve, maybe not considered.
I'll find you.
And I think regardless of how the scoreline continues to kind of unfold, for me, this is actually the best look we've seen from Crew yet. This is way more aggressive, way closer, way more fought for, and again, the pressure mounting towards that A site. TP taken and a 3-man play coming out through C long, but again, they are working with Sheriffs. It's bits and pieces, and that Judge just ain't finding the footing it did before.
This time, great awareness as well from Katsumi to know that these holds on A are generally quite deep, posted up. Bob actually noting 2 on the flank here. Let's have Mel in support here. Connor unnoted as of yet. We're going to be slowed down here with a fault line as well.
And just steps into it. Bob, no respect. He does get punished for that. Push towards CT with a one-way, still being kept somewhat safe. But the threat sign amount a little. Romy gone down this time, and now the final 3, 2 potentially noted and 1 to be considered in CT. If they can exit with these weapons, that would be ideal. Katsumi left on guard duty, does eventually go down, trade comes out, and Kalita, nothing to do but die.
I think initially here you can see the game plan from C9W when this presence isn't shown with utility, the fault line doesn't come through, the reveal, the C's, the paint shells, anything like that, they're happy to apply pressure. They know it's going to be a deep hold based on contact. So Katsumi just TP in all the way into backside. C9W have absolute freedom to take control on A.
1 enemy remaining.
I see maybe the utility combo. You can see a little setup towards that A lobby.
See immediately the response here from Crew is to actually stack behind, maybe put some of this utility. Exactly.
There it is. Now, I wonder what this change is. Actually going to reveal the intent of pressuring. Had started to consider the Romy's presence, and Romy's in danger. Romy might be dead here, absolutely. The counter utility and the counter play to try and take that long control is perfect. Takes a lot of util, sure, but it actually gets you a step towards the site and gets you the body down, which is Romy gone.
In terms of rotation time, it's so important to find that uncontested first blood on Haven. Forces the hand of the defenders.
Oh, they're trying to take this back a lot. It's quite brave. To try and take this space back towards sewer, keep some sort of the map on their side. And Mel going to work off the back of the boombot as well. Give away 1, the second is there, Mel. Stunning work. That's now the side looking very vulnerable. It's all theirs.
I mean, it's a great setup. It's just absolutely ripped apart by C9W. Even by dealing with that room, but still no position to find a kill. Both dug out by Mel. Actually with that operator once again. Konsu, yes, rifle in hand, but it makes that retake even more difficult. A little bit of a bankroll starting to develop for C9W as well. They do go hunting here. Opportunities 3 members above 2,000 credits. Mel even actually with that tour de force to offset any future purchase as well. Tools on the way through, but C9W will retreat back towards A lobby.
Starting to get that rhythm down though.
Yeah.
I think they're starting to really read the setup over towards the A site, feeling out the different looks over towards A long, especially the utility combo coming in early, but the counter being perfect, coming out from C9W, crunching towards it, and that early punish on Romy, you're in no man's land. You can see on the minimap where they got caught. It's very hard to do much about that. There's no middle ground there. You are truly in no man's land. So I do want to see what the next adaptation from Crew now comes out.
I mean, hoping the timeout comes. So we saw a real pace change on Ascent coming out of that initial, I think round 5 timeout it was. It's a little different with Crew getting on the board a bit earlier here, but Connor, like I said, holding on to the operator. A Guardian will come through, a couple of light shields here, but Crew will scrape together a purchase. Baish and Konsu, who have ultimates available to play with. See on the flip side,
Bring them down.
Bob does have Nightfall as well. Well, this is the one for me that will break the money and allow C9W to develop even bigger gap here in terms of the round score. map, Romy not going to have the showstopper either. Conir a million miles away from that tour de force. Konsu getting curious though. Counter nightfall here, but lots of information on the side of C9 White. Got to read that there's a 3-player stack once again towards A. We're seeing Kalita potentially scramble to find this rotation ahead of the curve. Ahead of this audible from C9 White.
Yep. Should at least
Perfect
get
fault line as well.
Yeah, able to get the players in the right place. But by now they have to respect that the site is won. But look at the aggression from Mel coming out as well. Over claiming territory, gonna push right on through, and you can see as to why. Full faith in the utility set into motion, it's all theirs. The B site and the connector towards A is secured. Romy on the flank though, punishing Bob this time. There's still a chance of this pressure. It's such a long way back by the time they'd get there, and look at the way C9 are posturing. They're still willing to challenge it.
I think that brings it to a 2-3 for C9 White. Jazzykin's gonna cancel out that advantage immediately against the operator. That's retaking onto B site. Probably the hardest to try and find an entry back through with, but Conir actually swapping out to the rifle, and it pays dividends.
Katsumi, have you been noted? Have you been considered? That's the first and the second! What? So sharp! So quick! Katsumi is having a performance as well. From map 1 to map 2, still so solid.
Conir didn't even get a chance to bait with the TP. Literally immediately removed. And that's the 6th in a row for C9 White, as it almost breaks the bank here for Crew, puts them back in recovery mode. And a huge stack built up now. The tour de force as well, just to make that even worse in the hands of Mel. So Crew need to do real damage here, almost need to win this round.
Something that very much learned quickly in the lead up to this, the first time I really got to cast Cloud9 White, is that, you know, the post plants, their retakes are stunning.
So aggressive, like you said, happy to continue digging deeper and deeper and deeper.
Almost too much to a fault there. They, you know, a different team could have been punished on that, but apparently they have full faith in, I think it was Katsumi and Jazzykin left alive, but this time warded away. So early damage done, and there's the response. Greater damage achieved from Mel there, taking down Conir, the opposing number.
3 more to find here on A site though. I think maybe a different indicator that it's Conir to swing through from sewers. But 1 more member was noted on default. Actually, that's why we see Jazzykin's down to 5 HP. I think actually, yeah, big indication that base actually sends through some utility. So should read that there's actually bodies behind this.
And do they stay patient? Do they get curious? What happens to the cat, and the smoke drops, and actually it's Romy to come out the better of that. Mel going to get quickly caught up by it. The 4v4, but again, no rifle to be recovered.
Away, though. Look at the minimap. Konsu's backed away to try and find a safer angle to play from.
Oh, this is such a it's such a good fake. Even if it's not a fake, you have to play mind to what Bob's about to do. You still have to put a player towards it. Maybe Bob's going to back away from this, and Katsumi read it like a book. Page is left open, and Konsu goes down. The site's all theirs. With 13 seconds, yes, it's a little dangerous, but it's fine.
10 seconds
Taking down that one player, they know Konsu has been playing on that site. They know what they've done. They've got the plant, and they're safe.
I think actually even initially with Mel showing presence with the tour de force, they didn't even consider recovering this rifle on A long.
Yeah.
So actually Romy and Bice coming through just with the sheriffs. Showstopper if things become feasible, but with this fault line, it's going to slow things down once again. Paint shell ahead of it. It's just, it's picture perfect from C9 White.
Jazzy might get contact on this, could be a little bit in danger because of that. Just low HP. Yeah, bashed. First one to fall. Jazzy, 5 HP, apparently more than enough. Bob there in support, and it's looking quite clean. I need to see a timeout now from Crew. Needs to happen fast, because right now Cloud9 White are just steamrolling. That momentum's in their side. You know, this is looking very clear-cut for them.
Like I said, almost coming through with that one. That would have given Crew the extra chance of 1 more buy round. And there's a reason I'm saying that that previous round was so crucial towards making this first half interesting.
Crew have hit out that timeout button, which is pretty critical, I think, to the rest of this game. If they close out the rest of the rounds, fantastic. If you're just tuning in, though, we have to then put this in context for you. The 2 rounds were the pistols. And if we talk about it when we go to champs, when we go to masters, we talk about it now. We always weight the gun rounds heavier. If you're looking better in the gun rounds, of course, the buy rounds, we will look at that with huge amounts of adoration, but in this, sadly, it's only the 2 pistols, and it has been more competitive. There has been way more threats, way more danger, we wanted more aggression. We got it. Crew are looking way more of a challenge, but it's not converting to rounds still. That
clutch factor tested a few times here on Haven already in the first half that we didn't really see in Ascent, honestly.
No.
C9 White were just, I gotta say, worlds apart in terms of on a macro level what they showed on Ascent. Here, they are being tested, but they're still scraping round victories through. So coming out this timeout, we want to see the same thing, right? It was almost rejuvenated in the first half in terms of the approach to some of the rounds. They just didn't find success. Crew now can switch things up.
I'd be interested to see what Crew look like if they explore the rest of the map a little bit as well. Try and maybe... I say explore the rest of the map. It has been hard to try and do that.
There's still that fear to try and get behind C9.
Yeah.
You know, try and find space else. We've seen Konsu explore towards C long, but there was no real push through here. But this is totally different. Romy, all the way down mid here, does have that support system in place from Bice to maybe take contact. And C9 White actually for the first time set up elsewhere on the map.
But the problem is coming out of a timeout, you kind of expect to switch up, don't you? So
Which is why C9 might have slowed down. Yeah. Exactly.
And you're already hearing that utility coming out from Fade against you. You're kind of considering why they invest in that towards middle. That normally indicates there's maybe aggression behind it. You're starting to already decipher what they're up to. So I'd be quite interested to see if Cloud9 approach it in that way. Maybe just taking their time here. Patience going to pay quite nicely for them if they do manage to work it out. Connor, this could be the test. 3 players coming your way.
I was going to say, Connor didn't have that first TP set up. Revealed on the second. I said not a safe TP once again. It was for a re-peek onto long. Now, actually, whether or not any audio cues are going to be given away, this is where Romy's position becomes very, very important. And that's it. You can see Romy relaying that information now, but Bob almost catching her off guard. Romy still wins it.
Big shot there coming in, but the pressure on towards the side's already mounting, but they already know what's coming their way. Konsu with a big double, finds Jazzy, gets Alexis down, and brings us back to maybe somewhere they can fight from. A 2v2 with a post plant, but Katsumi and Mel still standing.
Still got the paranoia to work with. Mel down to 30 HP though. An open plant towards long. C9 White just going to stack up as 2 here. Maybe waiting for that cooldown to be available for base, but it's the operator that's going to be the big question mark in this retake once again.
Trying to
find the first one, yeah.
But it takes so much time up, right? This is the problem. Costs you so much there. It is finally going to come out. Horn goes in, finds nothing, right? You got to go. You had to have gone about 10 seconds ago, but you had to make the seconds count clear, close, and they're going to get it at least towards half now. And the TP taken, they ain't stopping. No fear shown, and the paranoia actually catching. And that is where the issues really stopped any of that pressure coming back through. The paranoia just clipping. I think it was Mel there, and stopping to be able to even see the defuse.
Yeah, Connor just cool as anything, sticking that through. You can see it in the TP. Causes a little bit of panic for C9 White. A little bit of a fumble there in the post farm, but who get their third on the round. Again, C9 White comfortable to purchase through to the end of this. Beautiful hold initially, though. Now C9 White even dig through. Yeah, you can see.
Just clipped him.
Unfortunate sequence of events there. The operate actually rotate across towards mid here for Crew. Connor are going to have a much deeper hold. Fault line will go through, noted by Konsu. Yeah, just trying to find Jazzy on that orb. That will actually give Jazzy the showstopper. Be able to pave the way onto C site here. Yeah, Konsu gotta respect this. Gotta give it up.
Okay, so that should be the passage paid. The ultimate price. Plant comes in, and the site's theirs. Post plant's looking interesting as well. They still have that player sitting deep towards B, all the way down the middle. That's gonna be Melt. Tuck towards it. Got Bob on the case as well.
On this flank.
Very patient on the way through. Pressure on the site now, so let's see how long they linger around here. See if they get that timing right on the back lines. That is going to be a curious battle, because surely Mel's not considering this now. Surely the timing window could be devastating, actually, if she gets it right. Yeah, she does. Kane's gone down, and now there's a problem. Mel behind them, behind the wire, and Mel closing in now. Don't do it to him. Just get the job done. And still there is that unknown quantity of that one player on the flank, but Mel on the site is just completely unfazed, and Romy is a day late to the party.
I want to be so cautious of where Mel is lurking, right? Where she's positioned. It takes so long. And Mel actually finds that timing perfectly onto Garage. I think almost Crew are anticipating that flank to come through much earlier. That's why Romy's in that position in the first place. Beautifully done. Even to find the second here onto Konsu. Catches a flying Kalita up into the cubby. Beautifully done by C9. Showing confidence on the other side of the map, the focal point being A for the majority of this half.
I'll find you.
Oh, maybe found a point of weakness there. I mean, forcing the issue here. Konsu with a stinger in hand, actually going exploring, rewarded for it, but three staring down the smoke behind that.
That's brutal. Now, it's not just Romy this time. There's Beisht here as well, so maybe a little bit more pressure on the backline could alleviate some of those issues, but Mel seemingly all too aware in the site once again, going very favorably for Cloud9 White. The three players now dedicated towards it. You already got that swing back through from Beisht going up towards Garage. And Mel's timing could work out once again. So
much time and space to just sit on this angle with no pressure coming onto site just yet. Mel might even catch the retreat.
Nice.
Romy sharp to it, though.
Much better. Now let's give them a chance. There's no threat in the back lines, no more dagger in the back, no more knife looming above their head. The flash gets turned and Jazzy still fine, does get noted, tries to get out of danger and does just that. The post plant still going to be hard work. Now we saw last time there is no fear on these players. They're going to sit the defuse and finally the trade comes out. It's still going well for Crew. And now it's Katsumi in a 1v3, half achieved and overwhelmed and overrun. It ain't over yet, it's 4 rounds.
Beautiful retake here from Crew. And actually with Konsu falling early, C9 White know that they can sit deep on long, try and use this time and space to set up comfortably for that. But the paint shell from Romy absolutely ripping away that control. Onto Cubby, and as you see Jazzy just panicking with that blast pack to get out of there.
And this is a much better look from Crew in my book. I like seeing the aggression. I like seeing the confidence. They've given themselves a buffer. It's not massive, but it may be something, and they need something right now. Do stay tuned.
All right, well, gotta say, you know, good to see Crew at the very least, right? Staying competitive. This is a very different game than what we saw in map number 1, Mimi. Cloud9, though, still look fantastic, but I think that win as well as the pistol, like that kind of, I think it helps them out a little bit here.
Yeah, they're staying competitive, but Cloud9 is still winning, and I think that's exactly the story of this first half. There's a round I wanted to look back at here, which is where we're seeing some of these good ideas come out from Crew. We're seeing them come up with ways to be able to counter out Cloud9, but Cloud9's ability to adapt in the late round has been absolutely excellent. This one is an example. There's a breach actually flanking back through Cloud9 spawn, who pops up the breach ult. Romy double satchels all the way deep and gets that showstopper kill onto Jazzy. Cloud9 is separated. 2 players are stuck in hell in a 2 versus 3, but they stand strong. Bob knows she has to make that aggressive play and be able to close things out. It does end with just Bob being here as Romy has picked up big things, but she's going to be able to win out on this clutch. This is a round where Crew has an interesting idea. They're hitting those win conditions, but still it slips away from them from some of these big plays and adaptations from Cloud9 at the final hour.
This final bullet to me, it kills me. Sunset everything that C9. I agree with you. They were struggling a little bit in the late round, but it took them 2 to 3 rounds to know exactly what to do at the beginning of the round. Now, looking forward into what can we expect, right? Coming into Crew, knowing that you have to pull this back, that you've only managed to get those kills. I wanted to take a look at the kills that Kunir usually has on the attack. It's actually a map that allows us to see how the impact is going to be, especially on A, that sometimes she's going to be guarding the flank, expecting people to be pushing onto them, but she's also going to be sitting on site after the spike is down.
Yeah, we've seen step-ups from Romy, we've seen step-ups from the members of this Crew roster, but I think if they are going to be able to bring this back, it really does have to be that fixation on Kinnear, as she's playing her favorite role on this map.
Yeah, well, look, I'm excited to see if Crew can actually bring this one back, because if there's a team that can dig deep and make this happen in the moment, force this map 3, it most definitely could be this Crew esports lineup. But let's go ahead and get into our second half of play as we send it back to our casters to call the action.
Thank you, GB and the desk. And as much as, yes, a couple of the players stood out coming to this, Konir being one of them, I'm looking at Romy again, considering if you're looking at marking your man, right, you have to try and slip past Mel, who is having a stellar map at being that lurk, being that problem, still being able to post, what, 15 kills first half? Not bad at all. And I want to see Crew do damage now, not just in the pistol, throughout the gun rounds.
When we were making that kind of comp comparison on Ascent, we were talking about Romy potentially being the catalyst. Absolutely has achieved that here on the defense. Maybe not reflected in terms of round success just yet, but coming into the attacking side, we talked about some of those positives that were there. We didn't have a huge data size to compare on Ascent. This time, there's at least a chance for Crew to follow through on that first half performance.
Well, one of the players will be Katsumi, who's been stellar and seems to want to keep that reputation looking good. Alexis is going to take most of the attention there and overwhelmed in the end, but Bob makes appearance towards the back of the site and still steals... Ooh, I thought he was about to steal 2 more there, but no, it's just going to be a bloodied brawl. Cloud9 White coming out on top with 2 players remaining. And going to at least get past that first hurdle, that first challenge.
Great play from Alexis as well. The counter utility coming out, the flash and the fault line to slow down Crew. Bail out Katsumi, even puts her life on the line. And then Katsumi actually responds with the kill as well. Beautiful stuff. The 9th on the board for Cloud9. And actually 4 Spectres, the scope. For Mel, a couple of Sheriffs. And we talked about actually a couple of gaps in that round 3 purchase previously because of the investment from Crew. Well, that's going to be a factor here once again on Haven. I'm going to just rinse and repeat here, try and find something onto C-side. Katsumi will be tested once again. 4 players. Shift walking up here.
See if that patience can hold. And Katsumi,
big paranoia.
That was perfect. It's just slowed everything down and even isolated Bashed. Alexis will claim it, but the job's done. They've instantly hindered that pressure that was coming towards C-Long. And now they're going to send them looking for other options, right? Has there been an over-rotation? Do we have a chance somewhere? You got early progress from Konsu. Maybe they can take a little bit more space towards A. Allow that passage to come through quickly from that spike.
Actually, Konsu potentially catching a timing here. See already Mel just ready and waiting. Just in case, actually, yeah, Mel will note it. Smoke will go up, but still might with the numbers advantage here. Happy to rely on their retake. Bob actually lining up for a reveal here.
Their retakes that I saw before leading into this tournament were out of this world.
So well rehearsed.
Percentage-wise, it is choreographed. So I'll be very interested to see how this looks now going in.
Big
Already
reveal.
Big info. That's huge, but can they build off the back of it? They need to get towards the site here and flying on in. Jazzy, life on the line. The trade could be coming in. There it is. Mel, Katsumi, Alexis, all in unison, leaving Romy the last one alive. 1v4, defuse started, smoke in place, and 2 out of nowhere.
Back.
And the paint shell back into play. Going to do some chip damage, force Katsumi into a bad scenario. 1 more bullet to play with, and sweating them on the other side. But plenty of time for the defuse, but it got dangerous.
I mean, it's only actually that Cloud9 White are in position to retake this so early that actually Romy doesn't get another opportunity to close it out. Lots of damage done, though. Just 2 weapons carried away from that. For C9. That's a massive reveal coming through. And just swarming onto site. Gets totally blind.
He's starting to feel a little bit of that pressure now. At 4-10, you do see that they've hit those double digits. Now, it is only the pistol, so put it where you want. This is the big buy coming out from Crew, and it's got to be clean in my book. I want to see at least 4 standing. I want to see those rifles brawn through. I need to see this round look sewn up. On the other side for Cloud9, they have very little in the form of firepower.
I mean, they know that ultimately they can ride this out. Whatever they can achieve in this round, they don't want to give away the opportunity of any financial advantage here. Early probe towards C. Katsumi and Alexis with a much deeper hold this time around. Katsumi obviously on a Sheriff. Alexis with a Spectre in Garage. Initial probe, and Crew will pivot back towards A.
Oh, they're going to repick this together. Okay, off the back of the Prowler gets dealt with quite quickly. So Mel knows they've made progress up a long. Takes a swing and gets punished for it. Romy, good work. That's first in.
Actually, Bob repositioning back towards Heaven.
Still waiting.
For this reveal. Clip it. That's the reveal. Bob actually rewarded for it as well, but Romy's found another 2. Jazzy and Katsumi will fall.
Yeah, this is good work, but again, we're talking about keeping this clean. They have the 4 rifles still standing. They do not want to lose a single other one.
Problem being, though, in this post plant, it's going to be very difficult to find value. Romy's actually very close and actually giving one away.
And that could be a rifle to be picked up. If they ever find a way to get a little bit more safety towards it, that could be a rifle back in the hand. And right there. Kalita looking like want to play towards Graffiti. Going to tuck in the corner.
Connor just caught sleeping. And the rifle retrieved here.
And there it is. This is where it all could fall to pieces. You got to look at that player in towards the corner. Kalita here, tucked on the corner, has to pay off. And it does. Takes away Alexis from this, and Bob now on the chopping block. Dealt with, but it's costly. It's not as clean as I'd like, but they get across the line.
Spike planted, yeah, so they have that 300 credit bonus. I think that might be able to just scrape through light armors and rifles yet. Just about. I mean, basically going to be the only one that's struggling here, but a weapon dropped across. Crew find their 5th. I might draw blood, but This is the one that actually, again, it just shifts around behind. Like I said, Romy giving this one away. The only real thing that causes problems for Crew here is, like you said, if they can find one, bring it back down to, you know, maybe just a one-head advantage, and that rifle being recovered.
And this is the one. This could start great things for Crew.
Same probe once again towards C site as well. And last time, I mean, Mel,
here.
Yeah, Mel and Bob didn't progress down long, but this time Mel's hanging around with the operator.
Yeah, sticking here, trying to maybe bail Bob out, but
Reveal
Bob can't get out of
both.
danger. Yeah, Bob is stuck to this one. Any damage that she can
What?
do? How is Bob alive?
What was that? 3 HP.
How? Someone's looking after C9 White. I do not know how she is still alive. Katsumi trying to slow down the roll, and actually the counter quite nice here. Katsumi's still fine. One slipping through towards the site, and actually Kaneer's got to be careful. And does Katsumi consider it? Maybe thinking about it. Damage achieved. Standing and fighting. Katsumi sprays into the dark and claims 2. Alexis expecting the pressure through from Garage. They're sewing this one up. Beige, lovely shot. Needs 4 more of those.
Oh my God. What
Give me
was
that one more
round?
time. I want to see that.
That was ridiculous from Bob.
How?
Again, the reveal. Mel's desperate to try and deal with the operator. I'm not sure if Bob was actually blinded ahead of that. You can see the near side had come through.
It looked like she was, yeah.
This is outrageous. What?
How?
I think Katsumi as well, the adjustment here to find Connor, who slipped onto site, the second completely blind onto Kalita, and smiles on the faces. That's the 11th on the board for C9 White. Crew back down on a garbage buy here, just pistols to work with. No showstopper, invested in the previous, and no tour de force. With this composition, those are the things we look to rely on in this sort of purchase.
There's reliable elements absent, and B pressure.
Look at what C9 White are doing now on C-Long.
And there's certain markers in the game, right? You get past that first gun round, you keep some of those ultimates away from them, then you can start exploring. Then these are the rounds you can start stretching your legs a little bit here, taking walks around the map, finding backline pressure like they're doing. And maybe Crew are aware, but they're just not equipped. Just going to be those sheriffs and odds and ends and bits and pieces, and it's just a massacre again. 3 bodies littered on the floor, Spike now down. And this is looking brutal. And only the Ghost and Sheriff to take the stand, and the poor of utility.
So much utility.
Look at it, just raining in, and Romy, it felt inevitable, and it's clean, and it's 12. 5 stand, 5 move forward, and only 5 rounds for Crew.
Not letting their foot off the gas at all, maintaining this level of pressure. The Crew, unfortunately, just left licking their wounds. Bice now, Nightfall available. Some of these positives we talk about just haven't come to fruition here in the second half.
No. They didn't have much time to work it in, though.
No.
This is the other thing.
I said a slight advantage on the first map's result.
Yeah, it's difficult because at the very worst, you know that C9 White have that solid approach to the game. They've got great fundamentals, so even trying to find that little bit of space to work within, it is minimal, it is limited, and it looks all in. It looks pacey towards A. Not much of a backline to depend upon here, so they do need to somewhat commit. Yes, they can leave maybe Kaneer to keep a consideration towards that, keep that in mind for a little while, but it's going to be Mel very much alone. How long do you stick around here? Going to be found by the Prowler, and eventually will concede the site. Actually, Alexis is stuck around, right out of the air. Mel's there too, and it is a shot down and a shot out. You've even got the ult coming as well. Jazzy Kins with a double. It's 13-5. Cloud9 White proving exactly why they are the team to beat.
Another round where Robbie, just got to mention, just plucked from the air once again, just getting no success here after a very, very strong first half for C9 White, barely breaking a sweat. Once they found their groove once again, we saw the same trend on Ascent. Actually, looking at the scoreboard, a real testament here to Romy's performance. Desperately trying to put Crew in a position to succeed here on Haven. But the team unit, that core from C9 White, just excelling here in their opening game in Berlin.
Yeah, fantastic look coming out from C9 White, proving the Lanimals are here. They are very solid. Some of those same looks we've seen online coming through here into this offline environment, in front of the crowd, different setups, still looking solid. And again, Crew coming out of their region, we did consider them a very strong team.
Yeah.
And honestly, some of the previous roles leading